This is VFL Weekly Wrap for Round 2, 2026. I went to 2 games, but first, I'll go through all the other games. There were 9 games on the weekend. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, it's Kirk Gench 8878. Press that like button. A comprehensive wrap of the VFL. Now, the first game was Friday afternoon. Now, this game got moved from Victoria Park to Olympic Park, where Collingwood trained. Very rainy, miserable, cold, cloudy, dark, cold day. But GWS got them. They beat Collingwood by 16 points, 14-11-95 to 11-13-79. Collingwood led by 32 points at quarter time. They jumped them 7-2. GWS was still 22 points down at 3/4 time and absolutely dominated the last quarter. 7-6 to 1-4. Very impressive win for GWS. Friday night at Cardinia Park saw Geelong belt up on Box Hill by 47 points. 19-9, 123 to 11-10-76. Now for Geelong, Jack Bowes, he had 39 possessions, 7 clearances and 3 goals. Now Daniel Caperon, he kicked 5 for Geelong. Geelong actually didn't kick a goal in the last quarter. They were miles ahead, but got the job done. Now Box Hill's 10-game winning streak against Geelong has ended now. Great start for the Cats this year. Now, Friday night game at Frankston Oval saw a tight game. Frankston just a bit too good for St Kilda, winning by 8 points. 10-13-73 to 9-11-65. Frankston just jumped them, and this was the difference. Frankston 4-5 to 1 point. St Kilda worked their way back into it. A young team. And I'll tell you what, they had their chances, but they just lacked the composure required to win VFL games. Another lucky escape for Frankston. You just can't give sides like that a head start, especially away from home. Now, despite that loss, St Kilda player Jaden Davey kicked 5 goals. Now, there's a plethora of games on Saturday. One of them was the Queensland Derby. This was in Ipswich, and the Sharks got an impressive 21-point win against Brisbane away, 19-8-122 to 15-11-101. Incredibly, Southport kicked 10 goals in that third quarter. They also had 13 different goal kickers. It's that man again for Southport Sharks, Jacob Dawson, 42 possessions, 16 clearances, 1 goal. Boyd Woodcock as well, 39 possessions, 11 marks, 7 clearances. Head-to-head between these two teams is 11 all. Now, Beaconsfield, Coburg got a very impressive 23-point win against Richmond, 12-15-87 to 9-10-64. Coburg actually won every quarter. Once again, it's a possession game for Coburg. They amassed a whopping 453 possessions. They had 110 more than Richmond. They also took 46 more marks. Now for the Burgers, Mitch Pajaski, he kicked 4 goals and had 20 possessions. Jaden Stevenson, he took 8 marks. He kicked 3 goals, 5 behinds. Pajaski and Stevenson could wreak some havoc during the season. 2 major goal kickers there. Also for Coburg, Jack Bytel, 39 possessions, 8 marks and a goal. Donovan Tui, 34 possessions, 11 marks. They needed to win that game, Coburg, because if they had lost that game, they would have been Norton 2 and staring down the barrel. Impressive win that. Richmond, disappointing after belting up on Southport last week. That's a bad loss for them. Now, there's a game in Launceston. Tasmania beat Port Melbourne by 8 points, 15-11-101 to 14-9-93. That's 2 from 2 for the Tassies. Port Melbourne being very competitive in the practice games in the season now. Just failed to win that game. Joy Manzi for Tasmania kicked 4 goals. The game at the Hangar, I think this is an upset. Even though the home team won, Essendon, they beat North Melbourne by 19 points. 15-8-98 to 12-7-79. Now for Essendon, 2 standouts here. Well, 4 standouts really. Thomas Edwards, he kicked 5 goals. Sullivan Roby, their rookie, 4 goals with 23 possessions. Again, their ball magnet. Elias Sardis, 32 possessions, 11 clearances. Their skipper, Jackson Haitley, 31 possessions and a goal. Not a good start for North Melbourne, because they had to bye last week. I did say Essendon were rubbish, but that's a much needed win for that club. Alright. I went to 2 games. One on Saturday. I went to the beach oval between Sandringham and Werribee. Werribee were expected to win this game. They were hot favourites. Well, it was a turn up here. Sandringham knocked them off by 16 points. 10-13-73 to 8-9-57. Werribee had a good first quarter. They jumped Sandringham. 4 goals 3 to 1-1 at quarter time. Werribee won the second quarter as well. 4-2 to 1-6. In the third, mate, it was all second half for Sandringham. The third quarter, they kicked 4 goals for to absolutely nothing. Couldn't believe it. In the last quarter, Sandy, excellent again. 4 goals, 2 to 4 points. Werribee were 34 points up at half time and somehow managed to piss that game away. Sandringham only kicked, well, they kicked 8 goals, 6 in the second half, but Werribee kicked 4 behinds. I cannot believe a team like Werribee, with all their experience, with all the players they've got, failed to kick a goal against a young team. I'll go through the goal kickers. Now for Sandringham, 3 players kicked 2 goals each. Andreas Stefanakis, Noah Uze and Jack Ferraro. And for the Bees, Charlie Lazzaro's only multiple goal kick with 2. The possessions for Sandringham, Nathan Philatides, 28 possessions, 6 tackles, 5 clearances and a goal. There's a name to watch out for. Daniel Pinter, he had another good game. He had 22 possessions, 11 tackles, 12 clearances, 13 hit-outs and a goal. Watch out for this bloke. Andreas Stefanakis, as I mentioned, kicked 2 goals. He had 23 possessions and 8 tackles. For Werribee, Jack Riding, 30 possessions and a goal. Don Brew, 29 possessions. And I thought their best player was Charlie Lazzaro. 27 possessions, 2 goals, 7 clearances. And interestingly, well, the Will Elliott, the full forward for Werribee, he had an absolute shocker of a day. Couldn't mark a ball to save himself. It was terrible. He just had one of those games. And the fullback, Adrian Cole, he did a very good job on him. He kept him to 3 possessions, a mark and a goal. Will Elliott just wasn't there. No doubt about it. Now, the 57 free kicks combined in that game, I just felt the umpires were far too technical. Mate, to me, the game just lacked flow. It just lacked flow. It was just scrappy and it was contested and physical, but there was too many free kicks. It was too stop and start. Werribee had 24 more hit-outs, but Sandringham had 12 more clearances. While Sandringham, they absolutely battered Werribee. I know that they were outscored in that second quarter, Sandringham, but they absolutely dominated that quarter. They were 2 goals, 7 at half time. They should have been a lot closer. I felt then that it's not going to go all right for Werribee. That third quarter, I've never seen a team absolutely boss another team like Sandy did to Werribee. That is a massive surprise. Werribee, a hard-nosed team with experience, tough players, good players. they just got done big time. Give all the credit to Sandringham. They were very physical. Their pressure was good. Their tackling was absolutely elite. And in my opinion, I'm not going to make any excuses for Ruby. Sandringham deserved that win. That was a gutsy win. And hopefully that sets them up for the rest of the year. I just hope they don't fall away. But they're a young team. You're going to expect it. Werribee, they looked stagnant. They were boring to watch. They had no flow at all. No excuses, as I said. Did they take the game lightly? I don't know. Were they tied from the Gold Coast last week? Who knows? But that performance from the Bees was completely unacceptable. And they have to look at themselves. Excellent win for Sandringham. It was a good crowd there. Ground in very good condition. And they got the chocolates there. I've said enough of that game. Now, the other game I went to was the day after at Princes Park between Williamstown and Carlton. This was a thriller. Williamstown won by 5 points. 12-12, 84 to 12-7, 79. Williamstown 4-4 to 1-3 in the first quarter. Carlton, good second quarter, 5-1 to 3-3. Carlton won the third quarter, 4-2 to 3-3. A tight last quarter. The cagey last quarter, Williamstown 2-2 to 2-1. Now for Willie, Josh Datino Sante for his new club, kicked 3 goals. Braden Pruce, Alex Murkov, Damon Hollow and Tom Fullerton each kicked 2. For Carlton, Flynn Young kicked 3, Jack Ison 2. The possessions, again Joel Fitzgerald for Williamstown, 35 possessions, 11 marks. Hugo Hall-Khan, 34 possessions, 11 marks. Jack Toner, 28 possessions, 10 marks. For Carlton, Ben Camporelli, 27 possessions, 5 clearances. Nick Newman, 23 possessions, 5 tackles. Liam Reddy, 20 possessions, 16 hit-outs, 6 clearances and a goal. Nick Haynes, 18 possessions, 13 marks. Both teams took over 100 marks. Willie were in front all the way. Williamstown were 22 points up early in the second quarter, and it looked like they were going to run away with it. But give Carlton a lot of credit. They dug deep, and they played some good, decent football. They just kept at it and kept at it. It just seemed to me that Williamstown always had control of that game. Every time Williamstown got away, Carlton came back. But they just have too much know-how, too much experience. The last goal was kicked at the 16-minute mark of that last quarter. And both sides just made poor decisions. They just couldn't finish. The end of the game was exciting. It was in Carlton's forward pocket. And the ball looked like it bounced. I was right there. The ball nearly bounced. Looked like it bounced out, but it stayed in. And the Carlton player had a shot and missed. Missed a lot from the boundary. And as he kicked it, the siren went. It was an entertaining game, actually. I liked this game. Carlton put up a great effort. Williamstown won a 2 from 2. Both games decided by under a goal. It was a good crowd. Excellent conditions on Sunday. Ground in great condition. It was a great day for football. It was 11 a.m. start. That was an excellent game. Williamstown going to be a tough nut to crack. Now, I'll just go through the fixture. We've got 10 games in round 3. 2 teams had to bye. Williamstown GWS. Now, there are 4 games on Good Friday. Fantastic stuff. North Melbourne play Carlton. Brisbane play Sandringham. Be a test for Sandringham. Frankston at home against Tasmania. That's at Frankston. That's a day game. That's going to be an interesting game. The game I'm definitely going to, Coburg Collingwood at Coburg City Oval. That's going to be an absolute belter. Can't wait for it. Saturday, there's 3 games. Southport play Gold Coast, another Queensland derby. Port Melbourne up against Sydney. The game I'm going to go to, Werribee against Geelong at Chirnside Park. Mate, this will test Werribee, mate. Let's see what they're about now. Geelong, red hot form. Geelong will have to be favourites for that game. I would not be surprised if Werribee get them there. They will be extremely fired up for that. Should be a great battle. Sunday, there's 3 games. I'm not going to go to a game on Sunday. Got prior commitments. Casey against Box Hill should be interesting. St Kilda play Richmond Moorabbin. And Footscray and Eston play at Docklands before the AFL game. That was at the Whitten Oval, but it's a double header at the Docklands Stadium. It was an entertaining round 2. I'll see you next time.